Hello and welcome back to Solid. My name is Jake. Thank you guys very much for joining me on today. Back again on today is Thursday, May 1st. And we got Bird's Eye Preview. And about 24 hours from right now, Battlehawks are going to be doing a little rematch with the Arlington Renegades. This time it's at home. The first time was this time it's at home. The first one was in Arlington. I should know that because, that heavily impacts my day tomorrow. But I know that now. You know that now. That's where we're at. We got a bird's eye preview coming up for this game. Number one, should have pulled it up already, is the injury report. Biggest loss that the Battlehawks have is Austin Fallu is going to be out. Big old Chonko defensive tackle. Big run stopper, 300 plus pounds. Guy ruins games. Guy had a really, really good game 2 weeks ago against the Renegades. One of the main reasons that Kalen Balaj was not able to actually do anything during the game. So that, that's a big kick in the dick. Another one that's out is Jawan Bushell-Beatty, right tackle, is also going to be out. That's not good too because he's the better of the two tackles in my book. And instead it's going to be Bradley Ashmore is going to be in. Bradley Ashmore out of Vanderbilt, I believe. Bradley Ashmore, I looked this up. Bradley Ashmore, yes, out of Vanderbilt. There's not, when it comes to evaluating guys like this, I think the best way to do it, because he's a backup tackle in the UFL. He started 37 games in Vanderbilt out in 4 years, and that's good. That's good. That's how I'm gonna leave that. That's good. I also thought that it was going to be good, or I also thought that Donovan West didn't do too bad when Abdul Beecham was out for those 2 games. And then the offensive line did play worse. And like I said earlier this week, is that I don't know if it's a causation is a correlation thing or whatever the fuck that saying is. The offensive line has played a lot better with Abdul Beecham in rather than Donovan West. I don't necessarily like that that a tackle is out. What does it say? That he's out with toes, I believe. Is that what it said? It just says toes. Let me make sure. Yeah, Jawan Bushell-Beatty, right toes. Did not practice the entire week. He's out. So that stinks. That's not good. But yeah, no, it is going to be Bradley Ashmore. We'll see how it goes. If there's going to be a tackle that's out, you'd rather it be the right tackle rather than a blindside one. Also, you would hope that your blindside, your left tackle would be better. But that's the hand that we're dealt. As far as Arlington goes, weird thing, he didn't show up on their injury report until Wednesday. But Jake Johanning, their starting center, is out with a head thing. So I'm guessing that's a concussion. I hope it's a concussion. I feel like as far as head injuries go, concussion's probably the least bad one. So hopefully Jake Johanning, shout out for the name. Hopefully it's not that bad. But yeah, no, he's out. So it'll be their backup. He's really their backup guard and center. What's his name? Mike Farniak. I don't know. Number 71 is their backup center. So if you're thinking of something, at least it's going to be now. Austin Fallu did eat all kinds of double teams and stuff like that. And he was good at eating them, and people couldn't move him and everything like that. So at least it's going to be a backup center that's going to be part of the double team on who's it going to end up being? Freedom Akamaladoon or TJ Pesafea or Phil Hoskins. At least it'll be a backup guy that's half of the double teams on them. Because again, Arlington, what they want to do is that they want to establish the run with Kalen Ballage and let the guy get rolling. And then by the end of the game, he's just cruising downfield. That's what they want to do. So not having. I mean, I don't know how many more times I can say it. Not having Austin Falvey is going to suck a lot of butts. But this game is, like I said, is a rematch. A couple weeks ago, I'd rather not have rematches be with just one game right in between them. But the Renegades beat the Battlehawks 30-15, but it was actually closer to 18-15 because if you remember, one of their touchdowns was a 100-yard pick six, and then another touchdown that they had was the scoop and score off of the Manny Wilkins fumble when his leg exploded. So that's, it was a much closer game than it like initially was. I'm looking right now to make sure. So they failed their 2-point conversion to make sure that I'm like not even more wrong. And then, okay, so you know what? It was actually closer to, because they scored 8 points on that. They had the 2-point conversion. So 16 or no, so 12. So it was actually a 16-15 game, not a 18-15 game. If you want to look at it from a perverted point of view, and that's what I'm gonna do. So it was actually a much better game. The defense in that game, kept the Battlehawks in it. Max Duggan came in that game, and the entire offense looked like dog shit because I've said this a lot, but maybe it's your first time listening. The entire offense was terrible because they were running the Phil McGeegan offensive coordinator said that they pretty much just took out the initial play calling sheet and then just went straight to their audible play calling sheet, which, it hinders you in a ferocious way. And it looked like that. It looked like a backup quarterback who did not have a full week of practice or a full play sheet, and it was all garbage. I've been talking about this all week. If you care more about it, go back and listen. But then we go into next week, or we go into last week, the week after Max Duggan got his first playing time of the season, first extended playing time of the season, and it looked like the Battlehawks offense kind of turned into something that works with Max Duggan. Phil McGeegan said that he went and looked at some of the Max Duggan tape from TCU, and he started putting in some of those kinds of plays in the offense, and it looked like it worked like that. They were moving the offensive line. They were just like they're taking their balls in the middle of the field on the right hash. They're like, what if we just move the entire offensive line and move the entire play over to the right or the left, and it really worked. They got Max Duggan going north and south, so it was really cool that they were able to do that kind of a thing. Now, the question therein lies. Is this offense going to grow from that? Okay. Because what we saw in week one was some screen passes work against really bad defenses. And since then, the Battlehawks have done a lot of that, and it's been shitty. But it worked for them in week one, so it's like, it seems like they were just like, well, that worked before, so why wouldn't we go away from it? Now, there are some strategic things to do in the screen passes, trying to bring safeties down and stuff like that. That way you get one safety deep, and then you can take deep shots to Hakeem Butler, and that is what worked last week. To be fair, one of those deep shots at the cornerback, fell and just looked like he got just a gunner in the rafters, just took him out. And he was wide open on his first, the 67-yard touchdown. But the point is, the strategy of using screen passes is a sound strategy, and it is proven. The way that the Battlehawks design their screen passes and the way that they use Ja'Cour Pearson in them, I don't like them. I've been saying that for a while now. I don't like the way that they're using Ja'Cour Pearson. He's a much better player than the production that he's getting. They're throwing him the ball where he's got flat feet, and then he has to accelerate from there. The guy can't accelerate, but at that point, it's like there's already a guy barreling down on him. They know what they're going. If I'm seeing it and I'm a dumbass, then the other team that the Battlehawks are playing has seen it, and they're probably a little bit less of a dumbass than I am. So they're going to know it's like, oh, well, if Ja'Cour Pearson is getting the ball or if he's doing an end around or something like that, hey, let's crash down on him because that's what they're going to try to do with him. And it's dumb. They did take one deep shot to Ja'Cour Pearson last week, and it didn't work because Max overthrew him. But at least I like it. If you ask me, I think that they should use Hakeem Butler and Ja'Cour Pearson to put the safeties in conflict. And I don't know. There's a whole lot of other stuff that they can do with this offense that I'm not entirely sure they're going to. My point is the offense going to grow? If I had to think, no, I don't think that they're going to grow. I think that what we saw last week was them being like, okay, these are the plays that work. Let's practice these plays really well. Or let's practice these plays a lot and make sure that we can get them to work rather than expanding and building things off from them. So I don't think that the offense is going to grow. That being said, they're good. They're good plays. Arlington has a good defense. We just saw them 2 weeks ago again. It was against a kneecapped offense, and they shut them down completely. Their defensive line was giving Max Duggan all kinds of shit. He was holding on to the ball for far too long. We did see him getting the ball out quicker. I don't know. I'm really hoping that the offense can really kind of grow. It literally can't be. Well, it can be worse. It can be much worse. I don't think it can be much worse though. It can be much worse. I don't think it will be. I have faith. I have faith that the offense will work. I don't have faith that the offense is going to grow much. I think that makes sense. I think that the offense is the Battlehawks offense is going to score points against this Arlington defense. I just think that it's going to be a lot of the same of what we've seen, and maybe in next week or the week after that, we're like, oh, okay, well, we're back to some fucking boring shit. So I do think that the Battlehawks offense will put up points. The other thing is that in that last time they played, there wasn't Hakeem Butler. Now, counterpoint to that, you're like, yeah, Hakeem Butler's really good. Counterpoint to that would be he only had 2 passes last week, and one of them was from Max Duggan, and the cornerback fell down, and the other one was on a trick play. So, how valuable Hakeem Butler's very clearly valuable. Dude hits home runs. Literally, that's all he's done this season is score touchdowns. But, when is that going to happen? Are they going to be able to try to use him as a possession receiver? I'm not entirely sure. I'm very curious to see what actually ends up happening with that. Something that, I don't necessarily know if it is telling, but I looked it up, so I'm going to say it anyway. I wanted to see, because this is our 3rd season of having Anthony Becht as the Battlehawks head coach, and I wanted to see what his record was in the second game in a series. And in 2023, he was 1-2, and in 2024, he was 2-1 and back. So he's 3-3. So again, I looked it up, so I said it. We learned absolutely nothing from that. But that's what happens when you watch Solid with Jake. You're gonna learn something, and a lot of what you're gonna learn is just absolutely nothing. And that was a good example of that. So, yeah, I don't know. Kind of worried about the offensive line with the backup right tackle and Jared Jones-Smith not being great. Hopefully they have some quicker passes going on. I'm not entirely sure they will. Let's get Max Duggan rolling, though. Yeah, it's much easier for I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Offensive linemen, the whole thought there is that it's offensive linemen like run blocking because they're hitting somebody rather than them getting hit. And yeah, that is true. They do like it because of that. The other reason they like it is because it's much easier to run block than it is to pass block. It's just much easier to do that. To be attacking somebody, well, it goes into that. It's much, you get it. It's much easier to run block than it is to pass block, and I think that'll kind of work with the way that this Max Duggan thing is going. And if they can get Max Duggan running because he's a +1 in the run game, maybe they can buy him a little bit more time on the edge. I mean, again, going back to the last time they played, they didn't have the full playbook. I don't know. I think it'll work. I'm talking myself in circles here. That's my point. I think that the Battlehawks offense is going to score points. As far as Battlehawks defense against Renegades offense goes, still Luis Perez, still Kalen Balaj and Day Hunter. Still Deontay Burnett, still Isaiah Winstead. Going into that last game, again, Battlehawks defense did a really good job. Luis Perez was 17 for 25, only threw for 149 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's a 68% completion rating. Sal Cannella is their tight end. That was the guy that they got the most production out of. He had 3 catches for 35 yards. And the defensive secondary for the Battlehawks is the same as it was in that game. It's still going to be are we still saying it's Miles Jones is the backup corner that's in for Brennan Sebastian, who is still out. Yeah, Miles Jones is still slotted to be the cornerback opposite of Chris Payton-Jones. Luis Perez still, if he sees... Luis Perez can't do a whole lot, but what Luis Perez can do is attack a bad cornerback. And I think that they're going to continue. I think that they're going to do that. That's what I think is going to happen. I mean, we're really banking this game on a good Miles Jones game. We saw last week that they did sub in Nick Whiteside a few times for a few series there. So maybe if Miles Jones does get attacked, hopefully they make a shift to Nick Whiteside before it gets out of hand. It's tough. It's tough. The defense in coverage is, man, it's just really hit or miss. It's really just completely player dependent. Like they just don't seem to gel all that well. Unless it's like they're doing like a prevent thing. And the Battlehawks don't do a traditional prevent where they're only rushing 3 and dropping 8. Typically do a rush 4 and drop 7 kind of a thing. But when they do that, and it's very clearly defined in easy zone coverages, they do well with that. But whenever they do zone on the front side and man on the back side or vice versa, things get a little bit hairy with this team. And they got cooked by motion last week. You got to think that Arlington's going to try to put that a little bit more in there. I'm kind of hoping that's another thing going into this is that Peter Taumui-Penu was like down with an illness on the injury report. He was a full practice yesterday. So I mean, it probably, how it is after you're sick. I don't know what kind of sick. Maybe he's just shitting himself. And in that case, it's like, yeah, you can get over that. But if it's like some like flu shit, or if it's flu shit, you're probably on the injury report for more than 1 day with an illness. Hopefully he's all good. Because him and Travis Feeney were monsters that game, just giving Luis Perez all kinds of hell. I do think that they are still going to be able to affect him even without Austin Falliou. Okay. So the way that the Panthers just played last week is that they had that Toa Taua, their running back, but they also had Bryce Perkins for the most of that game, and you get the mobile quarterback in there. He's going to be a +1 in the run game, which means that the defense has to account for 2 guys who can run the ball, where it could be some of those RPOs, some of those read options for Arlington, for Michigan. It was more the pass option on those. But they still had to defend the run with Bryce Perkins. Luis Perez does not offer that. So, hopefully in this game, losing Austin Falliou, at least in the quarterback run, is not that big of a deal. I do think that it will, because they do run a pretty cut and dry offense. It's not like they're trying to do a whole lot of play actions and stuff like that. I should have looked up what their play action rate was. But it's very bare bones offense. It's a passing offense with a statue of a quarterback, and that's why Peter Taumui-Penu and Travis Feeney were able to get in there and go after him. I do think that the defense. I'm really just hoping. My prediction. Okay, let's just get into the prediction of it all. I'm kind of talking myself in circles. My prediction for the entire thing is that I think that the Battlehawks are going to win this game. I think that 2 weeks ago was incredibly fluky, and it was just a super unfortunate situation for the Battlehawks. I'm thinking, so let's see what the actual spread is for this game. I believe, are Battlehawks 3-point favorites at this point, or did it go to 3.5? Let's go into scores right now. Battlehawks, okay. ESPN says Battlehawks are 2.5-point favorites, so it actually went down. An over-under is 42.5. See 42.5. I got to take the under on that. But I'm gonna say, let's get a weird one. Let's say Battlehawks win. I think Battlehawks win 27. They win 27. I think that's going to be 3 touchdowns, and I'm going to count for 3 2-point conversions. So that'll be 24 points, and then a field goal. So I think they're going to win 27, and I think that the Renegades they have to have a better offensive showing, just like the Battlehawks do. I think it'll be 27. Let's call it 27 to 23. Let's do a weird number, 27 to 23. So how are the Renegades going to get to that? Let's see. They're going to get 2 touchdowns and an extra point, or and only convert on 1 2-point conversion. So that'll be 14 points. I don't know. 14. Okay, they're gonna get 3 touchdowns. The score? My brain's not working good. Okay, Battlehawks are gonna win 27 to 24. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. I don't know why I'm trying to do math in my head. You guys know I'm not a math guy. All right, I don't know why I put myself through that. Why am I upset? I shouldn't be upset like this. This is me. This is tough. Okay. That's the prediction. Battlehawks win 27 to 24, and they take sole second place in the XFL conference. They go to 4-2. The Renegades go to 3-3, and that's what's going to happen. The game tomorrow is at 7 p.m. on Fox, which sucks because the announcers aren't going to be in the booth. They're not going to be there. You know they're not going to be there. I got the seats in section 313. The announcer booth is in section 314, right next to me. It's right fucking next to me, and it's just going to be empty. It's going to be some old guy sitting in there with a laptop instead of seeing the actual booth, and it's going to stink. Maybe I'll be surprised. I doubt it though. But it's going to be on Fox, and it's 7 p.m. on Friday. I think that's all I got. Go Battlehawks, go Birds, go Ironbirds. Cause the law, really anything that you say to anybody at any moment in time, is they're going to be able to take that as go Battlehawks. I went and I got a car wash today because we got the rain, but the rain didn't do enough to get all the gravel and shit off of my car. So I went to a car wash. I rolled down the window, and it was one of them Zips. And we used to have a Zips membership. And then the lady said, "Are you still a member?" I said, "No, that's an old thing." She said, "You want me to take it off?" I said, "No, don't worry about it. I'll get it. I have no intention of getting the sticker off." But then obviously by me saying that, she's like, "Oh, this is just a Battlehawks guy. That's all he is." All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Man, the game's at 7 p.m. I don't know if I'm going to do a re-auction tomorrow night. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do it on Saturday. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it's going to be a late game. Going to be getting home 11, 12 o'clock. Who knows what time it'll be by the time I get home. But yeah, 24 hours from now, the game will be probably about done with the first quarter. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.